According to welcome to today, we're going to talk about the 3 key strategies for really ending the year strong and a little introduction into our program that we've created, Real Estate SWAT School. I'm Dan Elzer. I am the president of the Training Academy. I'm the creator of the program. And you should have something to take some notes with, because I'm going to give you a lot of good things to be thinking about as we move forward. 36 plus years in this business, and sat in every chair, been through every kind of market there is. And I truly believe, from an opening thoughts perspective, that we are dealing with the greatest opportunity that real estate presents us. And I want to touch on that in a market update. The current market, folks, we know has an impact on us. Rates have increased. Liquidity with the Federal Reserve is coming out of the marketplace. Affordability, lots happening in the marketplace. That creates opportunity. And that's what I'm getting at about the most opportunistic time to be in real estate. I want you to think of it in this term. We had a ton of people join real estate through the boom, a couple 100,000 people or more. And prior to that, we still were in a very, very liquid market, lots of high liquidity. So the market was much more robust than it was in the past. So there's a lot of people in the market that, now that the market's gone from what I call fear of missing out market to a market of needs and quality, there's many of your competitors that will not be out competing right now. They're paralyzed, they're uncertain, they're fearful. And some of them, with the right training, some of them with the right leadership, will make the transition into the market we're going into. Many of them will not. They will do what's called wait. I'm going to wait until the market comes back. There was actually an article that came out in one of our real estate magazines, one of the online magazines that everybody knows the name. I'm not going to say it, but the person by accident even wrote in the article, while we are waiting for the market to come back, you could start doing this. Take advantage of people waiting for the market to come back and gain dominance. The market's down, in US, even down in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the markets came down about 18 to 22, 23%. But there's still, and that's off the best years we've ever had, there's still plenty of market if we don't get caught up in the negativity and really look at the strategies and skills that we have to get our fair share of the market. So the challenges that has brought to us, the challenges that this market has created, are some of the following things. And I just want to share them with you. When I'm out talking to real estate professionals, or companies hire me to come out, I always ask, what are the challenges we're facing? And they'll say things like, well, buyers are indecisive, affordability is causing problems. They don't want to compete with other people, low inventories, interest rates. I get all these, expectations set improperly. Some sellers in markets that need to take a harder look at sales prices at their listing price aren't looking at that, because they still think it's, add 10% and move on. So we've got these challenges that are hitting us. And if we don't have the strategies, skills, and techniques to deal with the market, we can't participate in it. So the challenges boil down to this. Majority of the challenges you can write down that you face in real estate are driven by the market. But if I said to you, what if you can't use the market as a reason for not succeeding? What if I took the market away from you? Almost everything we write down as a challenge today comes off the list. And then I go, what's left if I don't give you market? And then people recognize, they go, well, just me. Exactly. Our behavior is left. So I was taught a long time ago by an investor in my first company that markets are the great equalizer in business. Everyone has to play in the same swimming pool. Everybody has the same market. It's what we do strategically, what we do from a skill and strategy perspective, will determine how much of the market we dominate. But make this note. If you allow yourself to consciously or subconsciously use markets as a reason you can't succeed, your brain stops looking for a solution. The market is out of our control. So if I allow, God, the market's down, the inventory's low, if I allow that to drive me, my brain will not search for a solution. If I go, I can't blame the market at all, then my brain goes into overdrive to find a strategy, a solution, something I can do to do and get my fair share. So those are the challenges that we're facing. Now, the reason we're having this is to give you some real actionable stuff. So be ready to take some notes, but also to introduce you to the program I wrote for dealing with what this is. And it's called Real Estate SWAT School. I was a investigator in law enforcement. I was on our tactical team, our SWAT team. And SWAT for us stands for our superior winning differences. That is knowing our winning differences, our differentiators, and knowing how to leverage them. And technique mastery. Mastery is all about knowing and being able to perform on skills and strategies without hesitation. The ability that if we were live, if all of us were live and I called you to the front of the room, you could role play any talk track, any strategy, any skill, and you wouldn't be afraid. You wouldn't hide behind someone else. You would be hands up like kindergarten going, pick me, man, I can do this. Mastery is all about owning your skills, your strategies, your techniques. But if we don't own them, I always use playing like tennis or golf. If you don't know how to stroke the racket in tennis, if you don't know how to hit the ball in golf, you can go play the sport, but you're bored. You don't have fun. You're frustrated. But if you learn the skills and techniques to strike that ball, you can go out and enjoy a round of golf or tennis. Same in every other profession. Mastery is the key to success. Now, the program that we put together it's not a new agent program. It's not a experienced agent program. It is a necessary program of skills and strategies. And it is a basic blueprint manual on how to be profitable in real estate. Now, I'm going to focus on 3 areas that I'm going to give you training on right now. That is part of SWAT that I want you to keep a note of as we go forward, because whether you take this program or use it for your company, if you're an owner or a manager, doesn't matter. You can take what I have and put it to work right away. If you want to master it, though, mastery requires repetition and practice. You might want to consider the program. So here we go. First of the 3 things I want to touch on is our business models. I came up with this when I owned my company, my first real estate company. There are business models. If you don't know your business model, then what you end up doing is you end up, it's kind of like I use restaurants as an example. I could say I'm a restaurateur, but what kind? Am I Italian food? Am I fast food? Am I fine dining? Am I casual dining? Am I a takeout place? The term restaurateur, is not definitive enough of the model that I will run to make money and succeed. The same thing in real estate. I'm in real estate. Well, there are business models there as well. So the 3 business models are a buyer agent business model, a balanced agent business model, and a listing agent business model. Again, this is right from the program. What I want to do is take you through each business model quickly and just give you the attributes and pros and cons as the current market dictates. So a buyer agent business model is a focus on buyers. So you need to have access to lead generation. Getting leads can cost money to purchase or a percentage of your money or of your gross commission when you close a deal, and it has limits to your capacity. I'll get into that in a second. To succeed as a buyer agent business model, you must have strong qualification and vetting skills. You cannot be a success in this model if you are not strong enough in your qualification and vetting skills and have a minimum standard. You have to have a consistent source of leads coming in. And then when you're out with them, you have to have strong demonstration skills. That's getting them to go, this is the house, I'll buy it without hesitation. Your schedule needs to be flexible because buyers need you on nights and weekends. They're not buyers aren't there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So if we look at some pros and cons on that, a pro on the buyer side is that leads can be purchased or electronically gathered. It's an easier side of the business to generate opportunity. But on the con side, your capacity is limited. You can only cause one deal to happen at a time. You are heavily burdened on the buyer side. Whenever there is a transaction going, there's a lot to do on that side, especially if they're newer or they've been a while since they purchased a home. And then in our current environment, some people don't want to compete to win the house. Some people wait for the rates to come down. Some people will look like they're going to buy, but never buy from you. So there's a lot of challenges in the current market that the buyer agent business model brings. Then there's the balanced agent business model. This is where you focus 50-50, half listings, half buy-side transactions. But listing inventory now, since that's half of my business, is driving my leads. I'm not buying leads anymore. Sellers become my best buyers because they're loyal, they have a deadline to purchase, they have money, and they have market knowledge because they just negotiated on the seller side. They know how to attack a seller in a negotiation because they just were a seller. The exposure of that listing properly leveraged, just list, just sold, open house, will drive more listings for you and other business. And this allows you to earn passively, which I'll touch on here in a second. To succeed on this business model, you have to have great sphere of influence skills. 3 out of 4 listings, more than 3 out of 4 listings, 77%, that sell on the market, the seller tells NAR when they interview them that they went to someone they knew to list their home. So they went to the sphere of influence to list the home. So as an agent, I've got to have a strong sphere. Got to develop my listing prospecting skills. Do I know how to approach a FSBO, an expired? Do I know how to convert opportunity through my sphere of influence? And I also have to have presentation skill, which includes having what's called a value proposition and the skills to deliver it. So the pros and cons here. Well, one pro is passive earning. What I mean by that is I can earn while I'm gone. I could take a vacation, live in Florida. I could go out to California or to Grand Canyon or something. And if I have listing inventory, it can sell while I'm gone. Where on the buy side, if I step away, unless I have that buyer tied up, they might actually walk away from me. So it's very, very hard to step away if I'm a buyer agent business model. But if I step away and something sells, I make money. I call it paid vacation. Another is your income is guaranteed. There are metrics on the list side. Every single market, I can go in and look at key metrics, listing sales rate, turnover rate, average commission, average price. And I can tell you, if you want to make $100,000, list X listings and you will guaranteedly make $100,000. It's that simple. So guaranteed income. And you have control over your own time. You're setting the appointments. You're the one in charge. I call it playing the doctor. I'm the doctor, they're the patient. Now, on the con side of the balanced approach is if I'm not a balanced agent right now, I have the habits to overcome of fear of missing out on a buyer who might say, I want to buy. So that's a con. I've got to get over the emotional trauma of saying no to people to have the time to build the listings. The other con is it does take more skill. No offense to a buyer agent out there, but there's more skill to go into someone's domain, gain control, play the doctor, and demonstrate in a way that they are comfortable with you representing them in the highest priced asset they own. So there's some skills, value prop. I already talked about them, listing skills, presentation skills that we have to have. Now, the third business model you can run is a listing agent business model. The listing agent business model is where you spend the time necessary to have 70% or more of your income come from your listings closed. The 30% just happens. A seller that buys, a double dip, referrals that you hand out to people because of all the buy leads you get. You're positioned as the market expert. And that means anyone in the market you're dominating as a listing agent, if they think about selling, you're always on the list of who to talk to. This exposure drives tons more business, but since the majority of your income is banked by the way you are taking listings, you will cherry pick the best buyers to work with. You will never feel that you have to work with anyone because the majority of your money comes to you. And again, it allows you to earn passively. So to succeed, again, your sphere of influence skills are required. You have to have prospecting skills. You have to have presentation skill. But another one that you need to have is self-management skill, because self-management is my term for time management. You can't manage time. Never let people tell you that. Time keeps ticking. We can't call a time out. So I have to manage self, not time. And if I have good self-management skills, I can compartmentalize my day so I can take care of the follow-ups. I can take care of the renewal of properties if I have to get out and talk to them, handling and managing that listing inventory. And then the other one to be a listing agent is you have to be comfortable immersing yourself in the community. That means you're part of the spring fling, the fall festival. You're always where everyone is. And it's just like you're a figure there. You know, everybody knows that you're part of the community. Now, the pros, simple, guaranteed income. Listing agents do great. Good market, bad market, up market, down market. If I walk in an office and I look at productivity, I can point to the listing agent that runs this business model. They have passive earnings. They can go away and make money. They have passive business coming at them because they're known as the market leader. So people just call them and do business. It kind of upsets other agents how business just comes to these people. On the con side is you got to be incredibly disciplined to become that market leader, to be in those communities while doing your prospecting necessary to drive your inventory. So this is like the cardiac surgeon of real estate agents. Now, what I wanted to share with you, this is the cool part and the important part, is which business model delivers the consistent income necessary in the current market we're in. Remember, I don't blame markets. I can't say my reason for not succeeding is the market, but what I can do is adjust my business model and my skills for the market I'm in. And the one that will bring you money every time in a transitional market is the balanced business model. Now, I've got a little graphic here to demonstrate it to you. If I'm a balanced approach agent and I want to close 20 transactions, there are two sides to the transaction. We got a list side, we have a buy side. On the list side, I'd have to have 10 closed deals. The buy side, I'd have to have 10 closed deals. Now, going back to those metrics, something you have to understand in today's market is there are metrics on the listing side: gross commission average, time on market, turnover rate, percentage of listings that sell. I can pull all of that data from the market and know if I take 20 listings, 8 will sell or 7 will sell. I know what that turn rate is. So I'm going to go with a 75% sales rate, saying 75% of inventory sells, 25% doesn't. Knowing that, I can calculate that if it's a 75% sales rate, if I take 13 listings, 10 will sell. Now, here's another metric. Nationally, about 6 in 10 sellers stay in the community they were in or the immediate area and buy from their listing agent. So if I can average the nationwide average on that, I should be able to convert out of my 10 listings sold, 6 of them buying from me. And look what that just did. That took me from needing 10 buy-side transactions, can subtract that 6, I only need 4. So then what happens is it puts me in the position to only have to cultivate 4 buyers out of the exposure of 13 listings, and I hit my 20. Now, this balanced approach I've taught for decades, guys. This is the one that gives you clarity, so you know exactly what your efforts and actions are every morning when you wake up. There is no doubt in your mind whatsoever what you have to do. And the business, when followed, that balanced business model, when followed, I've never had an agent that went out and consistently went after a balanced business model in the year that didn't exceed the money they wanted to make. Because part of having that balance gives you the opportunity to get another listing that you might not have expected, to double dip a deal on a listing you had. But again, I have to start on the list side. Look what happens if you start on the buy side. You don't have to respond to me. We've got a lot of material, so I'm going kind of quick. But on the buy side of life, in today's world, I want you to think, could an agent do everything right with a buyer? Initial appointment, qualify them, they got a good credit score, they've got money, but they hesitate. You get them out there and they're like, we're going to buy, but the house has got to be right. And, I heard the rates might come down a little bit, so we want to see if that happens. Well, the answer is yes, you know that to be true. And if that's the truth, that means you can be the best buyer agent in the world and not make money over a period of time because of the current market conditions. So instead of blaming the market, I adjust my business model. And I'm going to get into why this business model works as I continue through this process. But doing the balanced business model, I know exactly what I need to do. And to achieve the balance, I know I have to have listing skills. I've got to have listing skills to achieve that balance. Now, the next one is that I want to share with you is I want to share with you another skill set from SWOT that I think is critical today of the 3 elements for you to succeed. And I call that the buyer reevaluation. See, right now we got a lot of people, I was just all over the nation the last 2 weeks talking to agents in different companies. And there's a lot of people that when I asked, I said, if you knew that person wasn't going to take action, how many buyers would you get rid of? And everybody had multiple buyers that they were worried about whether or not they would take action. So the skill set there is understanding the buyer reevaluation appointment. So if a buyer gets off track on you, they're not responding the right way, you've shown them property, they didn't take action, something's just wrong. You got to take the doctor position. You're the doctor, they're the patient. So the reason that we get off track is we lose that doctor-patient relationship. They become in control. Or we don't have a formal process and procedure to take them through to a sale. We're just showing houses, waiting for them to find one that they're willing to make offers on. Maybe our demonstration skills are poor, so we're not leaving them believing they can't live without the house. They still think the house might not be perfect for them, and that's due to our poor demonstration skill. Or we don't have any closing skill. Today, it's not fear of missing out. Today, they're not closing me. Today, I have to close them. The other one is maybe I didn't qualify in the 3 areas. I'll get into those in a second. So to pull off this buyer reevaluation, the first thing I have to do is have the proper mindset again. I'm the doctor. I'm the professional. So I have to take control. You have value. So you require a return on investment. If you're giving them time, you're giving them money. So they have to have a little bit of skin in the game too, to meet you halfway if you're going to give them your money. You can't and will not work with just any buyer. You've got to have a standard. What are the standards that you are willing to take or that you're willing to look for where you'll take the risk of taking on this client? So here's the procedure if you have a buyer at a line right now. First, remember you're in charge and schedule a meeting. I call it on your turf. On your turf means you decide where. My office, maybe a Starbucks or something, but you decide where we meet. That's your turf. So I'm going to schedule a meeting and we're going to meet on my turf. This is a requirement if you're going to use this technique. Stop showing or sending information until they meet with you. If you've determined they're off track and you keep sending them stuff, they'll avoid meeting with you while wasting your time. So the talk track is pretty simple. Whenever I call them, I'll go, hey, Bob, it's Dan with ABC Realty. I feel like I always blame myself. I feel like I might not understand your needs well enough, and I don't want to waste your time. So before we go back out again, I'd love to sit down and just go over things and make sure that I really understand what you're trying to accomplish. And then we close. Would you have some time later this afternoon or Saturday morning to do that? You always know you've caught them when they go, look, man, I don't want to meet with you. But I found this listing. Can we get into it? You know you're in trouble. If they don't want to meet with you for you to have a better understanding of their needs, you just said, I might have it wrong. They're not buying, they're looking. And in today's market, you can't have that. By the way, you can't have that type of buyer and become a balanced agent, which is the business model that works right now, because you won't have the time to get balanced. So I've got to make sure that I don't do anything until they sit down with me. Now, at the meeting, I want to be prepared. So I want you to have all the information from your initial meeting with them. Now, hopefully you're having a live initial meeting currently. If not, start having a live initial meeting. Because in that meeting, you got to make sure that you have done what's called a needs analysis. That's a series of questions that you've actually written down the answers to understand what they're looking for. If you're just making a couple notes here and there, that isn't good enough. They'll tell you got it wrong, or you might get it wrong. I have a very formal needs analysis that I fill out every time I meet with somebody. So I bring that to this updated meeting. Then I bring copies of the homes that I've already showed them that they didn't take action on. Second thing is I'm in control. So it's my agenda. First thing I'm going to do is review the needs analysis. So I'm going to go through it and say, so Mary, Tom, what I have here is what we wrote down a couple weeks back whenever we first met. You're looking for this. You don't want this. You need this. You're after this. Da, da, da. Is that still all true? Now, if something's not true, they change their mind on you, and that's moving the target. We want to get clarity there. But if they agree that's true, that's exactly what we told you, fantastic. The next thing I'm going to do is review what I call the 3 qualifications. Let me give you those so you can write them down. 3 qualifications. Number 1 is, are they qualified financially? Financially is the cash wherewithal or credit wherewithal to close the deal that they're working on, the price point that they're in. That's financial. Qualified, not pre-qualified. They actually have made application, pulled credit. The second qualification is emotional qualification. An emotional qualification happens during the needs analysis. If I'm talking to partners, husband and wife, doesn't matter. There's 2 people. As I'm doing the needs analysis, and if you've been in this business long enough, you've seen cracks and fractures in what they want. One wants this, the other one wants this. There's a little uncertainty there. The problem is that can be the reason they don't take action. I found the perfect thing for the wife, but then offline, away from me, the husband goes, I told you I don't like that kind of house, or I don't like that lot. So I got to make sure emotional is that they're both on the same page when it comes to the area, the design, and the budget. If there's any crack in the mortar there, that will be their hesitation to act. One will be happy, one will not. So are they financially qualified? Are they emotionally qualified? The third one of the qualifications is urgency. Do they have a deadline? And the way I achieve that, folks, is I simply ask at the end of my needs analysis, okay, folks, you've described to me the new home you're looking for, or your next home. My question is, when do you need to be in this beautiful home, deal closed, keys in hand? When do you need to be in this beautiful home, deal closed, keys in hand? It's just the last question in a series of questions. I'm not threatening them or pressuring them. I just need to know when they want to be in this. That is my best deadline qualifier. Because when they say to me, it doesn't matter, I use the power of why, and I go, can I ask why it doesn't matter when you're in your next home? And then they come back and say this to you. Look, Dan, we're not in a hurry. Don't worry, we'll buy from you. You're not going to lose the sale, but we're just not in a hurry. Let's see what's out there. Folks, that's what's killing agents right now. If I don't have the skills to make sure I don't get one of those people, I could get 5 of those people. And where 2 years ago I sold houses, today I don't. When do you need to be in this beautiful home, deal closed, keys in hand? Gosh, we're hoping to get in it before the summer, or before the spring, or before the winter. Now I know there's a deadline. I go one further and ask, what's driving that deadline? What's driving your deadline? So now I've got my 3 qualifications. They're financially qualified, got them fully credit approved. They're emotionally qualified because in the needs analysis, they were both spot on and everything. And when I said, when do you need to be in the home? They had an answer. If I don't have those, when I'm doing the review, I might find out that, you know what, they're financially qualified. They're both on the same page, but they don't have a deadline. So they can look at homes with you for 18 months. While you're doing that, you're not getting balanced and you're not making the money you deserve. The next is ask why they didn't buy. If they meet all the qualifications, I show them the houses that we showed. I go, here's a copy of the houses that I showed you. May I ask why you didn't take action and make an offer? It's another way to test their motivations. You know, showed you these three. What did I get wrong? And if they go, no, that's kind of houses we're looking for. Why didn't you take action? Well, I mean, we're not in a big hurry. We're going to buy something, and then I find this stuff out, and that's what, again, is killing people. Now, once you get done with that, you have to make a business decision. If you feel they will take action or you've identified why they haven't and corrected it, move on. But if you did not get clarity or you determined that there's a reason they're not taking action, now it's time for you to decide and make that business decision. Now, here's how I do it, folks. Again, I'm just giving you what SWOT teaches. If I get to the end of this and someone does not have urgency, or for some reason is not qualified in the three areas, I will look at them and say, folks, it has been an honor working with you, but I'll be unable to continue representing you in the purchase of a home. I'll be unable to continue working with you to purchase your home. Then just be quiet. They always ask why when I do that. Well, why, Dan? And then I tell them, because you just shared with me that you're not in a hurry to buy the house. And even though I showed you homes that fit your needs, you did not take action. I cannot risk my career with someone that doesn't have to buy. And then I tell them, because I have too many clients that need to take action today, that it would be wrong of me to work with someone who has all the time in the world while they don't. Does that make sense? And they always go, oh God, if you have someone that needs to buy right now, by all means, work with them first, which literally is telling you it's okay for you to leave them on the curb if you have someone buying a house really right now. But when you're done with getting them a house, come back out and waste time with me. They're being so clear to you that I'm slowly taking your business away, your livelihood away. But we got to ask the tough questions or we don't get clarity. Now, this gets in our way, folks. Our habits are stronger than our knowledge. Habits are stronger than our knowledge. I can sit down with real estate professionals and they'll give me the perfect answer when we're doing a training, one-on-one coaching. That's your knowledge working. That's where you're thinking, you're reassessing, and then you're answering. But habits happen without conscious knowledge. And what I have found is a real estate professional can say the perfect thing in a knowledge environment, in a training, in a coaching session, whatever. Walk out the door and do the exact opposite. I'm going to give you an example of that. I was doing a initial buyer appointment seminar. It was all about staying safe. This is, we've had people killed and hurt meeting people at houses. We never meet people at houses. SWAT agents are in control. They have standards. So I was teaching this group of people that there are too many things that go wrong, and you don't know if you have a real buyer or a looker if you don't have an initial buyer appointment. We role played it. We went through it. Then we took a break. I walked out in the hallway where everyone was, and I just listened to one person get on the phone, and it went something like this: "Hi, this is Mary with ABC Realty. I'm calling you back." And then next thing I hear her say this: "Oh God, I'd be honored to work with you. That's what I do. I mean, I live and breathe this job. I can make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. So what did you want to do?" And I heard her schedule the appointment to meet them after the class. She goes, "I'm in a class, but I'll be done at 3. I can meet you at the house at 4. We come back in. Now I'm sneaky, guys. Remember, I was a cop. I start talking to her specifically about, does she believe in what I taught her? "Oh God, yes, Dan. I mean, I don't work with anybody unless I have that initial appointment." And then I hit her with it. I said, who were you on the phone with in the hall? She goes, what? I said, I was standing next to you. You were on the phone with someone in the hall. Who was that? She goes, oh, it was a lead that I got. I said, how many times have you met with them? She goes, well, I've never met with them. I said, I heard you say you'll meet them at the house. Guys, her blood drained out of her face. She was like, oh. I said, that's your habit stronger than your knowledge. You're in a class being taught not to give away the gold. You role played it. You came back in and told me, I don't do it unless there's an initial appointment. And you walked out the door and did it. If you don't recognize as a real estate professional that habits from the old market have drug into the new market, if you don't recognize that, they're costing you money. Be hyper vigilant that your actions are in line with your knowledge. And that's what I mean about habits are stronger than knowledge. Now, the last technique that I'm going to share with you, again, in the program, is we have to meet more people. There's no way that you can build a balanced business if you don't immerse yourself and meet people. So in SWAT, there's about a dozen ways that you can meet people. And I always tell people, you don't have to be a pro at all of them. You don't have to master all these techniques, but you have to master one. So learn all of them, try all of them, practice all of them, and then master one of them. Which one works for you to meet more people? And the whole definition of meeting more people, it's a law that I live by. It's law number 8 of 10 laws I live by. Meet more people simply states that I need to meet one person that I did not know the day before and find out if they have a need for my services before the sun goes down on a business day. So every business day, not every day, play days, I'm just playing. But business days, if it's a business day, I cannot let the sun go down without meeting someone I didn't know from yesterday and finding out if they have a need. That's the basis behind business development for us in SWAT. Dozen different ways of doing it. Some are highly skilled and proactive. Others are less proactive, but still effective. You have to decide which one fits your personality, your business model, and what you're doing, but then master it and make it consistent in your life. The one I think is most apropos right now, because I run all these things. I run the stats on houses expiring and withdrawing right now, and that stat is on its way up. But every time I stand in front of a real estate group of people, if a company hires me, I'll have the owner run expireds for me in the areas of their office. I'll stand in front of the agents and bring up expireds, and someone raises their hand right now and goes, Dan, we don't have expireds. Everything we have sells. And I'll take the sheet and I'll go, that's funny. I've got 37 of them here across all of your offices. And they go, where'd you get that? And it always cracks me up. I go, where'd I get it? I said, the multiple listing. And then I asked the group, I said, when's the last time you looked for one? Now I went back because if you go back 6 months right now, one of the biggest things we heard from our expired agents that work expireds is 4 months ago, the mantra was, we're going to wait. So those people have been waiting, which means now it's going to become a prime time, either going into the fall or going into the first of the year to get back on the market. It's prime time to go after these. So here's some technique for you. One is called the rules of the game. I created rules of the game as a communication technique so you don't lose control whenever you are out there working with people. So the first point in rules of the game is do not stop talking until you ask a question. So if you want to gain control and maintain control of a conversation as a professional salesperson, never end a sentence without asking them a question. Then you have to make sure you do not move on until they answer the question. So if I ask the question, so folks, why haven't you made an offer on these homes that I shared with you? There's a question. If they go, look, Dan, we're not in a big hurry, blah, 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 blah. I go, well, I understand you're not in a hurry, but why didn't you make an offer on these homes that fit your needs? Well, we're not buying right now. There's the answer. So you're not buying right now. Wasn't it the home was wrong? No, the home was great, but we're just not ready to buy. So that means I'm out with you burning my $250 an hour time that I should be making money with someone who just admitted the right house was in front of me, but I wasn't ready to buy it. And I could have been sitting on my boat drinking a margarita and have a better time than be out with someone who just admitted to me, yes, you did everything right, but I'm not buying right now. So if I ask a question, they have to answer it. If they defer and don't answer it, I have to give empathy and ask it again until I get the answer. Because if you don't get the answer to your question, you can't move forward in your process. Again, I'm the doctor, they're the patient. So here's the script. Here is the SWOT script for expireds. Highly effective, guys. I give you outlines for scripts instead of words because it's easy to fill in the words once you know the outline. So the outline for the expired script is identify them, identify yourself, and then determine if they still have a need to sell. So if I call them, knock on their door, run into them, I go, hi, is this Mr. Smith? Yes, this is Dan with ABC Realty. Now watch this, rules of the game. The first bullet is a question. Hello, is this Mr. Smith? Question, yes. The second bullet, this is Dan with ABC Realty. There is no question there. So if I'm following rules of the game, I can't stop talking. This is why people get frustrated with prospecting because they don't know how to. If I go, hi, is this Mr. Smith? Yeah, this is Dan with ABC Realty. And I stop or pause, I will get all kinds of headwinds and challenges. But if I follow the rules of the game, I will not. Hello, is this Mr. Smith? Yes, it is. Well, this is Dan with ABC Realty. And I move right into, do they have a need? And that goes something like this. This is Dan with ABC Realty. I noticed that your home has been removed from the multiple listing service. Did you still want to get it sold? I ended with a question. Now I get to stop. You read any books on communication. If you will end with a question, you will continue to forward a conversation. If you end without a question, they'll change the subject on you and take you off track. Do you still want to get it sold? Now, the response to do you still want to get it sold is threefold. They can say, yes, we do. If I hear yes, I continue with my script. They can say no. So if they say no, I'll ask them, oh, you don't? Have circumstances changed? Because they just were on the market. Have circumstances changed? 9 out of 10 times they go no. And then I say, so you do want to sell your house, don't you? Again, ending with an assumptive question. And they go, well, yes, but. And the yes, buts usually, I'm not going to give it away. I don't like you guys, whatever. I don't care. They said, yes, I move forward. And then the last one is they don't answer it at all. You still want to get your home sold. And they say things like, look, we're never going to list it again. That was not an answer to a yes or no question. So if they don't answer it, I go, you know what? I can appreciate you don't want to list, but did you still want to get it sold? And they go, yes, but we're not listing. I go, okay, but you do want to sell it. Yes. Great. I move on. The next bullet is my offer. I got to have a fair trade offer to let me in the door. So now I just say, hey, what I'd like to do is come by and share with you my 21-point customized assessment. It's created for today's market. This is going to help pinpoint why your home didn't sell. Now, I can say there's no charge or obligation or whatever, but notice how I didn't ask a question there. What I'd like to do is share with you my 21-point custom assessment. It's created for today's market. It's going to help pinpoint why your home didn't sell. There's no charge for this service. And then after I do that, I have to close. There's my question. And an alternative choice close for the appointment is best here. So I'd like to come by and share with you my 21-point assessment. It's going to help pinpoint why your home didn't sell. It's designed for today's market. Would you have some time tomorrow morning or this afternoon for me to go through that with you? Bam. Now, people always say, that sounds great, Dan, but there's objections. Well, guys, I've been on thousands and thousands of listing appointments. I sat in the chair. I did expireds. I loved expireds. I'm going to give you the easiest objection handling technique you've ever heard in your life, and it will get you in the door. Check this out. What objections will we encounter? Well, the ones that we hear the most are, I'm going to relist with the same agent. I'm going to sell it myself. I have other appointments, or I want to wait. Sometimes they'll ask, what are you going to do differently? But most of the time, Gonna relist with the same agent. I'm gonna sell it myself. I've got other appointments already, or we're gonna just take it off and wait a while. That's usually what you hear. So for you to be able to handle these objections, I need you to have these 3 phrases. Soon as they give me an objection, I'm going to use these 3 phrases to get out of that objection. Phrase number 1 is, do you know why the home did not sell? My second one is, so you don't make the same mistake twice. The third one is, let me be your second opinion. Now, this is what I use to deal with objections. So watch how easy this is, and then I'll role play it out loud for you. At first resistance, you get to the end. So can I come over this afternoon, or is tomorrow better? And they go, look, we're just going to sell it ourselves. At first resistance, you just simply say, no problem. Give some empathy. No problem. Before I go, can I ask you one more question? I get to the end. So can I come over tomorrow, or is Thursday better for you? Look, we're just going to wait. Hey, no problem. Before I go, can I ask you one more question? It has never failed, folks. They always say yes. And as soon as they say yes, I ask the first phrase. So, hey, before I go, can I ask you one more question? Sure. Do you know why the home didn't sell the first time? They 80% of the time say no. 80% of the time they say no. I want you to think about that. So do you know why it didn't sell the first time? And they go, no. But remember, at the beginning of the script, I said, do you still want to sell it? And they said, yes. So they want to sell. Now they're saying, I'm ignorant. I don't know why it didn't sell. And you have an assessment that will pinpoint what went wrong. Gets me in the door all the time. I don't ask for their listing, folks. I ask for their time to assess what went wrong. Once I'm in the house, I get the listing. But the listing's a bridge too far on the phone. But bringing them a solution to why their home didn't sell is what they want to know. They're kind of disappointed, depressed that it didn't sell. So look, Dan, we're not going to list the house again. We're going to just do it ourselves. Hey, no problem. Before I go, can I ask you one more question? Sure. Do you know why the home didn't sell the first time? Actually, no. Then I just simply say, well, that's what this assessment will do. We'll pinpoint what went wrong, and I'm happy to share that with you. Do you have time today, or is tomorrow better? I just reiterate that that's what I'm going to do for them. Now, when you use the first phrase, you got to make sure that they don't get vague on you. Sometimes if I say, do you know why the home didn't sell? They get vague and think they know, and they'll say something like, it was the market, or it was the agent. Well, if they're vague, then you have to ask for specifics. I would just simply say, do you know what it was about the market that cost you your sale? Sometimes they get specific. Do you know why your home didn't sell? Yep. Would you mind sharing that with me? Yep. It was overpriced. I had a lady say that to me one time on a call. And I was like, man, that never happened before. I never had someone confident in why their home didn't sell. It was the first time for me. The only thing that could roll off my tongue at that moment is I just went, are you sure? And she said, yep, that's what my agent told me. And then this was my comeback to close. If they are sure, I just simply said, if it was something else, would you want to know? And when I said that, she went, oh God, yes. I said, well, that's what my 21-point assessment will do. Pricing is only 1 point of 21. Why don't we get together, go through the assessment, and before you make any decisions on your price, make sure that's really what went wrong. Would you have, I can't end without a question. I can't say, I can't do that and go, that way you won't make a mistake and stop. I have to then move into, so would this afternoon work, or is tomorrow better to do this? Just for historical purposes, that woman said, yes, let me in the door. I did the assessment. It was price. I made my presentation of my winning differences, my value proposition as a listing agent. I went through pricing with her. She reduced her price, listed with me, and I sold the house. But if I didn't have good strategy, skill, and technique, I would have never gotten that appointment to get that listing, to get that sale. By the way, who she then referred me to her friend. Became a great transaction. But if I didn't have the skills on the front end, I would have never gotten in the door. Now, people always ask me, Dan, this is nice, but what all do you get, man? If I go through this program, what am I going to get? Well, let me just share some collateral with you. One of the things people always ask me is, what about those scripts? Do I get those? Yes. So you get presentation stuff, open house stuff, We do personality profiling, so you can do personality profiling. The expired script, rules of the game, sample assessment, expired letter and script. We do what's called the three-pronged approach. That is a way of getting around and still prospecting when there's a do not call. When I say getting around it, it doesn't mean we call them. It's just two other pronged approaches to get the same result as picking the phone up does. Objection handling, week at a glance, self-management, rules of the game. Core 300 is sphere of influence. We've got a whole thing on running your Core 300 to drive passive business. Minimum standards for buyers, levels of need, FSBO letter, tracking forms, listing appointment, discovery questions, how I work, how to go into a listing appointment and take that listing, preparing the buyer analysis. All this is collateral that comes with the program. Now, this is an 8-week program, folks. It's spaced learning. You would sit down and watch video in a learning management system. So kind of like what you're seeing here with me. I'm talking and role-playing with you. And at the end, you watch about 2.5 hours of training, maybe in the morning or in the evening. You take a quiz to make sure you got it. And then I give you strategies for the week, what to go out and work on to start building business the way you need to. You get 10 weeks to complete it. So it's a learning management system that goes week by week, but you have 10 weeks to complete 8. That way it keeps you on track. You can't wait all year to do this. You got to be serious about wanting to improve your career. All of this, all that collateral, all of that for the most incredible price for this kind of training, $279. For $279, you get 10-week access to an 8-week training program with all that collateral I talked about and just a fraction of the skills like I tried to demonstrate to you today. The old thing when you watch infomercials. But wait, there's one more thing. There is one more thing. If you graduate from SWAT, this is probably the most loved thing for my graduates. I do every single quarter, at the beginning of every quarter, I do a free SWAT graduate webinar for only graduates. And what I do in that webinar is I outline where the market is because I'm an economics geek. And I take you back into SWAT and go, what tools and strategies should you be leveraging to take advantage of where we are? So all my SWAT grads every quarter get a free re-up on what we should be doing to stay relevant and to stay sustainable in the marketplace. That's free as long as I'm in business. I'll hold those quarterly webinars. Doesn't cost anything to you. Now, at the end of the day, if you are a company, this program can be run in what we call huddles and groups. If you're a company and you'd like to look at it, please reach out to Judy. She's our VP of Ops at judy@danelzer.com, or you can call us at 407-786-5525. Or if you're interested in this program, if you click that QR code, that will take you to reswatschool.com. There's no commitment there. It just takes you to the page. If you're still uncertain, scroll down a little bit and click on reviews. Look at the verified user reviews and see how I think every single review is a 5-star, 1 4-star, and that person gave us a glowing review if you read what he said. I just don't think he's ever given anyone a 5 in his life. But you can read how it's changed people's lives. This is a new program, guys. It's only been out for a couple years, so it's designed for where we are today, and it will change your stars, folks. So with that, we've got a few minutes left. If you want to use your chat, you could open it up and you can ask a question. I'd be happy to answer it. And then we can go from there. Again, going on that QR code, if you click on that QR code, all you're doing is getting access. You can save that site, check things out.
This is the SWAT class is the one that we will do the scholarship for.
So yeah, yes, you had mentioned that. Anybody else, guys? I think she was talking to her team because she just hung
Yeah,
up.
she was talking to her team.
So on this, does it start on a weekly basis, or when does the 8 week start, or how does that work?
That's in control of you as if it's a group or the individual. Because it is a learning management system. It's just like taking a college course. You go in, it's very organized, it's very simple and intuitive. You go to session 1, you watch the videos, download the manual. There's a training manual that you download and print, and then all the collateral for that week. You watch the videos, you get the strategies, strategies for the week to go out and operate on. So you can do it individually on 1 week at a time, pick a date. But whenever we do it with companies, we encourage the leader to have everybody start on the same day so they can meet and have their huddle at the end of each week and kind of go through things. And the other beautiful thing, if you have a company, is we have many, many companies doing this, is if you started a group, let's say next week, say 5, 8 people, and 2 weeks in, 5, 8 other people are like, man, I want to do what they're doing. The beautiful thing is they can start right then and still join in your huddles because they're just 2 weeks behind, but the huddles are not about the material. The huddles are about, what's happened, best practices, how we're doing. We've got an outline if you're a manager or an owner on how to run a huddle. So you don't have to have everybody on the same date, start date. They just have to be on the same date that they're watching their videos. Anyone else? Okay, guys. Well, it was an honor to get to present to you. I hope you learned something. If you're an agent or if you're an owner, a manager, that you've got some takeaways, and we're here for you. Like I said, reach out to us, to Judy, and we would be thrilled to help you get implemented. Go out and have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you later.